Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen around the world, wherever you are. Welcome to League of Tilt. But today we're doing something a little different. We are going to be commentating on a replay of a game that already happened. So on the red team, you've got Garen top, Mordekaiser jungle, Yasuo mid, Ashe Seraphine bot. We're up against Mundo, Diana, Cassiopeia, Ezreal, Senna. Both junglers just begin by posturing. Both teams just fan out across 5 points of the river. Yasuo's defending enemy red buff. Looks like Yasuo and Garen are going to role swap, because actually Yasuo into Cassiopeia is a very difficult matchup after a bit because of Cassiopeia's W grounding. Yas didn't want to take this in champ select. He offered trip the Garen. Garen apparently thinks his matchup to Cassiopeia is very easy, so he was happy to do the swap. Mordekaiser gets some deep vision, Diana gets some river vision. Mordekaiser actually vexed to get an oracle lens, which Diana doesn't do. She just uses her ward and then she doesn't go back. Mordekaiser decides to start bot side, bot lane best as possible. Diana is going to start with blue buff. She really likes some mana and the cooldown reduction. You can realistically start either side, but she's deciding to start top side and work her way out. Junglers starting on opposite sides of the map. This will probably mean some amount of gank contest, because both junglers will be uncontested by the time they reach the respective sides of their lanes. Well, be interesting to see the pathing. Looks like Cassiopeia is actually going to be late to lane. This is a little unfortunate, but should be alright. She has teleport. She can just teleport to tower. She'll just miss a wave. Mordekaiser looks like he was leashing two camps at once, afraid of the Gromp resetting. That happens. Not much trading in the bot lane, not that you'd really expect any. Ezreal, Senna, Ashe Seraphine, just safe 80 carry with Enchanter support, safe 80 carry with Enchanter support. Mordekaiser is clearing faster than the Diana, which is not a sentence we get to say very often, but it's very satisfying. Also has Ghost to just run people down. We'll see if that comes in handy over the Flash, which is of course the usual keystone. Cassio still hasn't gotten to lane, is deciding to hold TP. This has to be an error. There is no way holding teleport here is like in any way a good idea. But alright, we're looking at Yasuo topside against the Mundo. This can't be going very well. He's deciding to take a trade into the minion wave and then throws the tornado out into God knows where. He's actually already managed to get Mundo's passive off. Oh, no time for any of that. More trading in the bot lane, more trading in the top lane. Yasuo is just going to die here if he misses this tornado. Okay, but it looks like he has a minion wave and Mundo will not push into it. But over here, we just had a heavy trade on the bot side. They ended up going in the favor of the red team. We're going to have Ezreal on less than half HP and out of pots because he's not healing up anymore. He does have a Senna, so there is that. Garen tried to walk down for an early roam because his laner was missing, but blue ward. Looks like he's going to throw away all the advantage he'd managed to gain. Looks like topside Mordekaiser is going to finish his full clear around the 320 mark and then get disappointed by the Yasuo dying as he heads over. And Garen is also going to die in the mid lane. Whew. So actually, let's rewind a little bit. Let's watch a little bit. Okay, so he just gets run down slowly by the Cassiopeia, and then let's rewind this and see what happens topside. He doesn't take a tower shot. He just underestimates Mundo's damage, and then the caster minions finish him off, and then he gets caught in the jungle and dies and has red buffs, just keeps applying red buffs low, and the consistent twin fangs from the Cassiopeia is enough to take that down. So Mordekaiser, he hasn't been able to get a gank off because he was pathing towards upside, and Yasuo just played poorly. He's going to try and grab this Mundo, see if this Ghost allows him to chase it down. I don't think he expected the Mundo to push. If he'd expected the Mundo to push, Mundo doesn't have passive, so there we go. This is good. Okay, and he can use his Ghost and his W to block it and walk one out. Alright, looks like in the meantime, bot lane has managed to get very overextended. Diana's coming in, very easy setup, and Senna lands the root, so this should be a very easy kill, and the Ashe has already used Flash. Maybe they can get a kill traded back. They do, and Seraphine lands the double root and walks away. That double root from the Seraphine was absolutely beautiful, so somehow this play will only end up in becoming a 1-for-1. Very big trade of summoner spells, only Ezreal with a flash up, so they get a slight summoner advantage. But the fact that they got ganked and they traded 1-for-1 is excellent. Let's see how this mid lane matchup is going now. Garen is trying to play aggressively into the Cassiopeia,
and for the most part, it's working, but he will, because he can mitigate a lot of this damage and heal all back up. Storm Shield as well helps him heal back a significant amount of poke whenever you are in a melee versus range matchup. Do consider going Doran Shield. It is an absolutely fantastic item because it lets you heal up after harass. Also, Garen's passive also lets him heal up. Mordekaiser looks like he's not actually going to complete a full sequence. He is looking to head down bot side because he just saw the Ezreal head on down, but I don't know about this one. This just seems like poor judgment to me because it's Ezreal. He should be able to E out. He can just E out, and he's just letting his. This is horrible waffling. But it looks like he's finally going to decide to pull the trigger. Greeting for control ward is something we can all appreciate. Oh, it looks like we are going to get it on the Senna. Are we going to get scared and bitch out? Yes, we are. Okay, so Mordekaiser missed his Obliterate, hit his Stats Grasp, but then got kited to holy hell by the Ezreal. He's going to clear out this Worm cover, but this is very poor judgment. If he's going to place that control ward, he probably should have defended it. It's all right. He knows that Diana is topside, completing another rotation. So he'll actually be able to use that information to take a dragon. So it ends up working out, but with about 10 seconds of waste of time. Meanwhile, Yasuo looks like he's about to get soloed by Mundo again because Mundo hits level 6 off of the earlier advantage he did get. Yep, just solo kill. Diana doesn't need to be there. Diana can just transition this into Croc Punish because she's realizing that, hey, Mundo's not here, Mordekaiser's not here, she should be able to take this, especially since their top laner died. There's no chance for collapse. But trading that for Drake is not awful. The thing is, see, if those seconds bot had not been wasted, then Dragon would have been done, this would have been finished, and he would have been on the Raptors. Now he's going to lose an extra camp because of the waste of time. And I think he recognizes that, actually. So he's going to head over to Diana's side of the jungle because Diana was seen in top lane, so he knows his Crocs and probably his Raptors are gone, so he'll just steal Diana's Raptors instead, which is well done. Cassio is running out of mana in the mid lane, but Garen is also getting ganked. Will Mordekaiser rotate in time for this? I think this will give him level 6, so he just wants to take this, get level 6. Okay, he has level 6, maybe he can just walk in. Okay, we're in the Death Realm, Mord versus Cassio, misses the Obliterate, throws the Death Grasp into another dimension. If he hits either of those spells, I think he gets a kill. Very unfortunate, just mechanical misexecution. Cassiopeia with low mana after her ulti really didn't have the damage to kill her. It looks like he's going to be pushing in this wave to try and at least force her to miss a bunch of stuff, or at least he'll force out the teleport. Don't know how I feel about this. On the one hand, it puts his laner behind, but it puts him ahead. And on the other hand, I mean, would Cassiopeia have teleported anyway? Probably, but now she's forced to use her teleport, and she did miss the cannon. But she's not going to miss much of the wave's EXP. Mordekaiser, it looks like, is going to transition into the Rift Herald. They'll be spawning in 5 seconds. Looks like he also wants to go for this Mundo, but I don't know if the two of them together can even kill the Mundo. Yeah, well, there is Honey Fruit, so Mordekaiser's not as low HP as he used to be. Maybe there's a world, but Yasuo... Mord does not have ulti. He's still halfway there, and he doesn't have a slow, and Yasuo doesn't have tornado. It's just okay. Mundo's just going to walk away, and his passive is going to block out the Death's Grasp. This is another reason that it's very hard for Yasuo to 1v1 a Mundo. He doesn't need to hit 1 tornado, he needs to hit 2 tornadoes because the first tornado is going to get blocked by Mundo passive. It's a very difficult thing about the matchup, and also once Mundo gets Bramble Vest and Randuin's, he just takes so much reduced damage. Well, of course, especially early on, he's a massive stat stick, so it's very hard for Yasuo to win out on these early trades anyways, and Yasuo is also playing quite poorly. It's like Garen is being able to maintain aggression, and meantime we have more trading in the bot lane, but their bot lane, the blue team bot lane, is baiting it wonderfully. They're going in for the fight because they know their Diana is there. She's able to just slowly sequence downwards through her bot side down here. Now she's going to invade the Mordekaiser again. See that his blue buff is up, see his Gromp is up. She's going to be taking all of these. Mordekaiser is just clearing his top side. He should know that the Diana is taking all of his bot side camps, and he should be using that information to get an invade off.
But it looks like he doesn't really care about the counter jungling, given that he has the Rift Herald. So he's secured both early objectives. Looks like also Diana's going to leave him most of his bot side jungle, just taking the blue buff, because she is not able to track where he is. She's afraid if he shows up, he will kill her, which he probably will. You cannot fight Mordekaiser in the death realm early on. Unless you are very, very ahead or he is very, very behind, because if the stronger you are, the more Mordekaiser becomes. It looks like some more heavy trading in the bot lane. We've seen this trading pattern before. Garen goes in and then walks on out afterwards, and Cassio just sends a couple of Twin Fangs in the back, but those Twin Fangs are doing much more damage than they used to. The difference isn't quite equalized yet. Cassio is still 20 farm behind. However, she is a kill ahead and Garen is 0-2. Ezreal is roaming bot mid with Senna, but didn't really have the damage to take down Garen. This just looks like, but this is a definite error by the enemy, by the red team Ashe. Oh, it looks like in the meanwhile Yasuo is just going to die again. He's going to spend his flash and he'll be fine. This is an error because Ashe should have been pushing this as hard as possible to punish the bot lane for roaming. As it is, they really lose very little by the roam. They've got this big wave stacking up that they can just come back. So they miss just like a few minions, which is definitely not enough for this kind of punishment. Oh, the Senna ulti is going to not be enough, but at the same time, Garen is going to die because he got stunned under tower. He wasn't able to turn back in time, to turn back from the Cassiopeia in time. Meanwhile, Diana just shows up topside into a very low health Yasuo and forces him back and just kills him. And this game, this Yasuo is quite unhappy. Even with this early executioners, Mundo already has a full item completed. Mordekaiser just released a Rift Herald bot. This should let them get first tower of the game. And in the meantime, he'll be able to take this dragon again because he knows Diana on top side again. So Mordekaiser is doing an excellent job taking objectives and turning this objective into, oh, very nice very nice, very, very nicely comboed by the Seraphine and the Ashe. The charm into the root into the Ashe stun, just a lot of chain CC. Meanwhile, we had more action here. So Mordekaiser finished this. Okay, so I'm going to look at this charge. Look at the Seraphine one more time. Seraphine's going to throw out her chords, her charm on core, and there we go. And the root into the sun. Mordekaiser knows that he's walking to Diana, and Diana just overestimating what she can do on this against the Mordekaiser. Death Realm gives him so many stats, even though he starts half HP. The shield is just so massive, and the red smite is still just not enough because Mordekaiser deals a stupid amount of damage to the Death Realm. You cannot 1v1 that. That should put Mordekaiser right back in the game, and indeed it does complete his demonic embrace. And not that he was not doing anything in the game, but he was slightly behind gold-wise. But now, because of the farm disparity and because of the shutdown he just got from Diana, they should be fairly even in power. Looks like Diana is still going to have a gold lead because she's able to complete her tier 2 boots, while Mordekaiser is only able to complete an item. Not even with enough gold for boots, but he should be able to make that up quite soon. The next objective on the map, Rift Herald. So, finally have some breathing room in this game as we transition into the mid game. It's just been constant, non-stop fighting. Okay, now as turrets start to fall, these teams are really looking to play in very different ways. Like Ezreal, Senna, Cassiopeia, Diana, Mundo, they can do a very nice front row. So Cassio with a very respectful flash. I don't know if she needed to flash there when she still had ulti up. Looks like Ashe is going to get caught. Just decides to take a stroll into river. Garen doesn't really have the best peel, but maybe the silence is enough. And yeah, the silence should be enough. But Ashe burning both summers and walking forward fearlessly. This is questionable at best. But with the Seraphine and her pseudo-redemptions, maybe they can heal this back up. Mordekaiser and Yasuo appear to have a good flank angle, but not certain if this is enough. Okay. Does die, and Mordekaiser, nice landing of the Dead's Grasp. However, Senna will flash out to safety. Mundo has joined the fight. And they're running away. Oh no, he took the tornado. He's dead. Oh, he's dead. He's so dead. Maybe he's not dead. Cloud Soul, no, dead. Mordekaiser is joining back into the fight, though they're also low.
They're also low. Mordekaiser doesn't have ulti up yet. Very soon, he kills the Mundo. Oh, the root, the grounding, just not enough. Just a little too slow to get the ultimate. Very big win for the blue team. They get the big shutdowns. They kill, and it all starts with that play here. It all starts with Ashe just taking a stroll into the river, losing her summoners and her shield bow. That's what put them at a deficit to start off with. Missing the Encore, but the waves will get cleared. Hopefully she does not just get killed under tower. Okay, minion wave will be there to protect her against... Oh, nice dodge out on the center root. Yasuo teleports in to clear out a minion wave, question mark? I suppose so. Okay, I was gonna say, finally, a little bit of downtime in which we can talk about what each team is trying to do. We saw there, the blue team really was more or less like, even though it was a little sloppy and split, we're still mostly able to do what their composition is designed to do, just fight front to back with the carry sitting back and letting Mundo take the brunt of the damage, focusing on people one at a time. The red team was just fighting to split. Oh, Mordekaiser comes in. Will he get the Diana? Missing the Obliterate in the Death's Realm. It should be enough. Diana doesn't really have anywhere to go to, and he's shepherding her nicely towards the Yasuo. Senna, he has Ghost, so there's a world in which he catches up to this, and the Ashe arrow will actually catch out the Ezreal, and the Obliterate will take out the Senna. That's another big shutdown for the Mordekaiser, so now he's... What? That was just pure int. Dashing into another Twin Fang, the Liandry's will take him out. However, Mordekaiser, having just killed the Diana, will be able to take the Rift Herald. Looks like the blue team is going to send a lot of pings onto the Rift Herald. Diana knows that Mordekaiser will be doing this, but they're not really in a position to contest. Look at their health bars. Even if they have just killed Ashe, anybody who shows up to the Mordekaiser will most likely die. So Mordekaiser will get this Rift Herald through. Whoa, oh, close, okay. But he had Smite up, there's no reason to be worried there. Second Rift Herald of the game goes to Mordekaiser. He can probably use that to take the second mid-tier turret and then threaten that turret and move on to dragons. I wonder if this might not have been better used a little bit later. Tanking the turret, okay. This might not have been better used just a little bit later, because a little bit later Mordekaiser would actually have been able to use the Rift Herald as a distraction to get the dragon. So I wonder if this wasn't still a little bit too preemptive in pulling the trigger. Oh, nice Death's Grasp, but he is in the middle of everybody. He will not have his ulti. It's just a positioning error. Another pick for the blue team, just as Drake spawns, and without Mordekaiser, who is so much of the team's strength right now, this is not going to go well. They're so split. Seraphine and Yasuo were just not on the same page over and over again. She will die here. She will get run down and cut down by the snake in the grass. Garen coming in, gets exhausted, and that probably means he's just going to end up dying. Diana's just going to ignore all this fiesta and take a celebratory walk in the river before finally doing the dragon. But again, an excellent example of the blue team executing on what they want to do. Maybe catch someone out with the center root, catch someone out with the Cassio ulti, catch someone out who's out of position, and then just use the power of their front-to-back team fighting. That's very strong backline carries, even their support as a carry. And just use the Mundo and Diana to engage in front line and just cut people down one at a time. We haven't really seen the red team's composition do what it is capable of doing, which is Seraphine Wombo combo into a long-range Ashe ulti engage into Mordekaiser Death Grasp. Like this composition has so much AoE combo, and they just haven't been able to make it work. Like if they can chain knock up from the Yasuo or the Seraphine ulti, Ashe ulti, Yasuo ulti, Mordekaiser Death Grasp into Obliterate, that will just decimate the entire enemy team. Like, I don't care how far ahead these guys are, they're mostly squishy. The only tanky person is Mundo. So all of these squishies will just get one-shot by a wombo combo like that. And see, if you can't catch out a Mundo in a pincer like this, just goes to show how far behind your Yasuo takes half of his health bar just for walking up to the Mundo. He's just going to shrug that one off. He goes where he pleases. Mordekaiser and Mundo in a sustained duel, given that Mordekaiser is itemizing into Demonic Embrace, might be able to kill him, but it'd definitely be a close thing. But they both have 2 items, so they're actually comparable in strength and levels. Oh, looks like Mordekaiser is going to Death's Realm.
Okay, he is going to Death Realm the Mundo, but Ezreal shows up, and recognizing that Ezreal is here, he's going to Ghost, walk away. Oh, okay. Does his W shield come back up? No, not yet. Oh, meanwhile we have mid lane, a fight, the Encore, the Charm under tower, and the Ashe ulti. Oh, the double kill in the mid lane. They just overstep a little too much, a little too big for their britches. Yasuo inting again. But you know what's new? Just gets caught out by Ezreal and Mundo. Garen and Cassio are just trading waves and posturing against each other. Mordekaiser is just going to get some honey fruit for the red buff, heal him back up. And is he going to try and go for this top lane now? Because he can definitely murder the Ezreal, but with the Mundo there, I don't know if he'll have enough to both peel, to protect against the constant slows from the Mundo. But the Mundo has backed, and he did see the Mundo backing. Ezreal, oh no, he doesn't have Ghost, so maybe he can E-flash. Okay, flashes out of the Obliterate, and okay, so just blowing Summoner to stay safe. That's the end of that. Alright, looks like we're going to have another fight in the bot lane. Garen walking up, silencing, walking away. Seraphine throws out a high note into thin air. Whew. Pause. Another breath. Probably in the last 30 seconds before the fight starts again. Fighting is absolutely non-stop. Blue team now, in order to close out the game, they need to start trying to find picks like so. If Diana landed that, yeah, okay, didn't even need to land the Q, just jumps forward with a Lunar Rush, and the Moonfall is enough to catch out the Seraphine. Mordekaiser is posturing aggressively, but he is up into a Mundo who's just going to keep slowing him. Ashe slow should be good peel. Okay, he's going to be able to use the Cloud Break speed up to move away. Going to Raptors, it's just going to die. I think Mordekaiser realized, rightfully so, that these people are just going to int it down. So they're just going to go down. And now the blue team is going to be able to translate this into a mid lane turret. Mordekaiser shouldn't get taken down here. He's very tanky, but I also doubt he's going to be able to he's going to be able to deal with these people by himself. Mundo teleporting topside to try and deal with the Yasuo split pushing, which he will be able to do very easily, I'm certain. Mordekaiser just dipping in and out of lane and jungle. This is actually very nicely done by the Mordekaiser, because this is what allows him to continue keeping up in the experience. Oh, he's recalling, but he realizes he's recalling the ward. His blue buff is warded, some very good offensive vision. If we can just toggle the Fog of War for a second, look how much deeper into red team's territory blue vision is than for red vision. The map is so dark for red team vision. Like, if they're not personally somewhere, then they can't see anything. There's just no wards on the map. And partially that's because whenever Seraphine has tried to walk into the river to try and look at this death brush. Look at this death brush. Red team has no idea. They cannot see. Walking into the river has to be a scary experience. Mordekaiser barely missed the Death's Grasp into the brush. He is going to be taking out the Senna. Senna flashed out. Mordekaiser, an absolutely dominating fight again for the blue team. So if we rewind there and try and break down what happened. So let's start back here. We get this fight where we're walking in blind. So let's toggle entire war vision here. We've got a bunch of people in this brush. We're setting up a death brush. Setting it up, waiting for it to happen. Mordekaiser walks in, sees the Senna, tries to grab the Senna, misses the Obliterate, immediately Death's Realm the Senna. Meanwhile, Yasuo gets caught on the flank, Diana's just going to kill him. Senna is able to flash out and stay away from the Mordekaiser. Look at the ulti from the Seraphine and the Ashe. They get a bunch of people, but the Mordekaiser comes out of the Death Realm without having killed anybody. And the Ezreal and the Cassio are just able to do their job from the back line. Ashe W is going to trade back one, but Ezreal is just going to end up killing most of the red team. So this just, yes, he got taken down very low, but if you look at the safety of his positioning, right here, just look at the positioning of the Ezreal. He's never under any real threat. Mordekaiser here is grounded, so he's slow. He can't even walk too far. ulting into the entire team, and then just throwing out mystic shot after mystic shot after mystic shot. And Seraphine at this stage does not have the damage necessary to finish this off, and she can't really walk forward into 3 members, so they have no choice but to give this up. And the worst part about that, right, is Mundo isn't even in that fight. So this is a proof of just how far behind the red team is. They're at a 6,000 goal. Oh, the hero play from the Seraphine. Let's have a look. So Seraphine, realizing that she's above half HP, and given that she has built a Liandry's plus some AP, she actually starts by missing her root, but then the high note does enough to kill the Ezreal, and the dragon will finish off Senna. So that actually, the objective save by the Seraphine actually makes that so much better for the red team than otherwise would have been. Of course, they're still going to lose a massive amount on the top side here. There's no way Yasuo can hold up against a dedicated push by the Mundo for any reasonable amount. Just look at the item disparity. He has a shield bow and a crit cloak against 2.5 items. He's behind an entire item, and he's down a level. There's no way he's going to be able to challenge this. Mundo's still going to ulti and run away. Very interesting flash. Alright, looks like everybody has respawned. They're going to fight over this dragon because this Drake stacking is one of the ways. Oh, Diana? Looks like Mordekaiser is not going to be able to smite that in time, but he's going to force out Diana flash. He didn't just expect the burst from the Diana into the smite, so Diana is going to be able to take that away, but at the cost of a flash. He is looking a little caught here. Oh, but the Ashe ulti, the enchanted crystal arrow into the Death's Grasp will take care of the Ashe. Meanwhile, Yasuo dies again in mid lane, badly positioned. Mordekaiser looks like he has Senna in the Death Realm again because Ezreal is dead. There's no reason for him to hold it on anymore. He will obviously be trying to use that Death Realm on Cassiopeia or on Ezreal. Those are the key targets if he can get his W up. Oh, the Encore by the Senna, the double charm. Mordekaiser is going to give up his life for it again, but they should be able to clean out the blue team here. What an excellent front-to-back team fight by the red team. Mordekaiser and Ashe starts by catching out the Ezreal. Trading the Ezreal for the Yasuo is absolutely worthwhile. Ezreal is bringing so much more to the table at this stage with his itemization and with the amount of damage he's able to dish out. Now, because of all of this fighting, Ezreal has never actually had a real chance to farm up. So he's actually not as far ahead as might be expected. Meanwhile, red team is going to start up this Baron, and it's not going down the fastest, but it is taking a good amount of damage. It's going down fairly quickly. Oh, the Ezreal ulti, that might have actually be enough to dissuade them off the Baron, but Seraphine has redemptions and shields, but it looks like they're scared. Oh, Ezreal is going to get the kill on Seraphine. Meanwhile, Yasuo's topside not even helping with the Baron. If somebody just walks over here and steals the Baron, this is going to be an absolute disaster. He came and he walked away, but he didn't help. They're going to get the Baron, but at the price of losing to an execute. That should have gone so much better. Terrible, terrible decision making by this Yasuo, and he is now overextended once again. His team has recalled. He wasn't with them. He's just going to get caught and get taken down. So a very big burden for his team. Meanwhile, we have the rest of the red team resetting and preparing to use the Baron to push. Drakes have been equalized, so neither team is at risk of getting sold. Of course, it would be a Cloud Soul anyway, not the most exciting in the world. Looking at itemization now, though, Mordekaiser looks like he's going into a Cosmic Drive. He's a Bramble Vest. Yasuo rushes the second item, or Garen rushes the second item, Mortal Reminder. Yasuo still sitting on components. So this Garen actually has some amount of damage, but he's not going to do well. Oh, looks like Mordekaiser is just going to ghost in for this Cassiopeia. Going to eat an ulti, but he has a Frostfire Gauntlet. He's very tanky. He should just be able to walk this one down. Cassie's nowhere to go. Oh, she's okay. The Death's Grasp will finally get it. Garen might not be able to duel this Mundo, I don't think. He recognizes that, cleanses the slow with his Qs, walks away. Oh, flash ulti. He should still be able to, we should still be able to take down this Mundo because Ashe has now joined the fight, and Ashe should have enough damage, and Mordekaiser is able to rotate from mid lane. Another excellent catch. They overextended topside again, but finally red team is able to capitalize on that overextension and take 2 quick kills for them trying to force the push. Now, still have Baron buff on multiple members, and they're going to just be able to push forward and take at least
least this turret, which is already half HP. Meanwhile, Garen and Yasuo on the top side should be able to take down top tier turret. So that gold difference that was 6k just a few minutes ago, off of a series of good catches from the Seraphine, the hero plays from her and stopping the Drake, then the Ashe catching out Mordekaiser, catching out the Ezreal, solo killing the Cassiopeia in the mid lane. Off of the back of those hero plays and of getting the Baron, the gold lead has been completely equalized. Gold is practically dead even despite being down in kills, and this is what can happen this season when you give over too many shutdowns, when you give over those objective bounties. You can definitely throw leads. As it is, this is anyone's game to lose. The Baron buff has to be almost at an end. If you look at Mordekaiser, he's the last remaining member with Baron buff, but it really is not going to last too much longer. A Hand of Baron is, as you can see, it's almost expired. Ashe and Seraphine are also going to use last Baron. Okay, the next fight is for this dragon, right? Next Cloud Dragon. This is what it's going to be about here, because whichever team gets this puts it on soul point, not soul point. But it's still probably going to be something worth fighting over. Neither team is really in a position to push too far. Because of their Baron, red team has push in all 3 lanes. And blue team looks like they're just not even going to care about pushing the waves. They're just going to walk into a river. Cassio is going to get caught out by Mordekaiser. Meanwhile, Garen is going to go into the middle of the entire enemy team. He's not going to die though. Looks like he's tanky enough. Seraphine with an encore between the goalposts. But as soon as Mordekaiser comes out off the death realm, the Cassiopeia will die. Diana, meanwhile, with the Moonfall, getting the ADC of the red team. And on the side, Garen is going to get taken down. Garen is going to barely be able to make it out, but Yasuo is going to get taken down. Mordekaiser getting away by the hair of his little chinny chin chin, but a massive team fight win for the blue team. Now, if we jump back into the replay, try and see what happens as a whole. This fight, if you'll notice, it ends up being very split. So right now, look at the positioning. Only Mundo is topside. Everybody else is already here for this fight, and Seraphine, one of the primary carries / supports for the team, is not here. Garen goes in without the Seraphine. Like in this position right here, if Seraphine is in position to follow up and capitalize and get this encore on this lined up blue team, then that should just end the team fight and probably the game for the blue team. But that doesn't happen, right? They're split. Garen goes in too early. Mordekaiser is going to come in from the side, but he's just going to take Cassio into the death realm immediately, because Cassio is very strong, so 3-item Cassiopeia. So he's just going to take this into the death realm. He's not under threat, but Garen absolutely is under threat. And now Seraphine comes up, but they're already hiding. They're already playing far back. Meanwhile, the teleport comes in, and now because this fight is so split, Mundo is just going to zone off Seraphine over here. Now, Seraphine does end up trading back a couple of kills, but this just ends up being a massive win because Ezreal was free-firing the entire time. The only carry anybody could get onto is Mordekaiser getting on top of the Cassiopeia with his ulti. Outside of that, whew, okay. So because they were not able to push in the waves for that fight, even though they put them on soul point, they're going to lose significant minion waves on the bot side. However, there's no threat to the tower. Ezreal's going to get this red buff, and the map is going to reset once more. Another calm before a storm into the Baron buff. Okay, let's take a look at items now where everyone is. Because of the last couple of fights, because the way it's been going, because Garen hasn't died in a while, not only does he have a bounty, he's actually managed to complete 3 items. His Starix is going to make him significantly tankier than he was before. Mundo has 1, 2, 3, 4. He's 4.5 items completed and tier 2 boots. He's almost full build. This good doctor is going to be almost impossible to take down. He's going to be such a menace in team fights. He will actually go wherever he pleases. The days before he could just get easily caught out by 1 or 2 members are long gone. So much effective HP with that ulti coming in. This is not going to be an easy game at this point for the red team, because as long as the blue team just fights front to back like they want to, so long as Mundo is just able to stand in front and take the punishment, they shouldn't be able to cut through this. So what red team wants to do here is they want to pull them apart, right? We already saw what they were able to do by creating pressure in multiple lanes. So Yasuo is going to keep going on into side lanes. So Ezreal is preparing a Death Brush, but he has the support of his Senna and his Mundo. They're not going to go for the Scuttle Crab. Okay, it looks like Ezreal will try to clear the Scuttle Crab, but Mordekaiser and Senna know that Ezreal walked up into the river, and Ashe will actually spot this out on Vision. Mordekaiser has Ghost. Mordekaiser boost mites and into the Death Realm. Ezreal doesn't have any mobility.
He misses the death crest, but it shouldn't matter. Ezreal should just die here. With the Ezreal dead, and the Diana comes in, but just gets CC'd. This is a massive win for the red team. Looking at the replay, so we saw how easy this kill was. Now Diana thinks, oh, I can just go in on the Seraphine. She's alone, but look at the CC coming in from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and the Charm and the Encore. She gets killed. Mordekaiser finishes off the kill, and the Ezreal just comes out behind the Diana and smacks her. Now 2 quick kills. This is the exact thing we're talking about, where if this team does not get to fight front to back, if they're not fighting with their Mundo behind, if Mordekaiser is able to get into the back line, if Seraphine and Ashe are able to catch out squishy targets with their ultis, then this is going to go terribly for blue team. With 2 still dead and 20 seconds before they respawn, this is very easy Baron for the red team, who are finally going to firmly put themselves ahead for the first time this game. Being on soul point doesn't matter. If you have the Baron, you just end the game. Looks like Yasuo is just going to run it down again. Whether or not he needed to do this, in order for them to get Baron is questionable. But at this stage, he's 1-11. He just became 1-12. He's not even worth a cannon minion, probably. Because cannon minions at least give EXP. So recalls coming in from the rest of the red team, resetting. We're going to be generous and we're going to say created space. So are we going to be able to see one more Baron push to end the game? Is this going to be enough? Because look, the tier 2 inners have all been taken. And remember how we were talking about vision before? The red team's vision is now significantly more advanced. They have perfect control over their half of the map. They're now going to slowly start pushing in to blue's team's side of the map. Blue team's side of the map is now dark and full of terrors. There's 2 defensive wards in their jungle, and that's it. But nobody's going to be walking through the jungle now, right? They have a Baron. They're just going to walk it straight forward. They're just going to walk it straight in. They're not really looking for flank angles. Now that said, red team doesn't have offensive vision in either side of the jungle. So well, the Ezreal flank is not the deadliest. But let's say if Mundo wanted to find a flank, or Cassio could come in and threaten a stun, they wouldn't actually have a way of finding this out. But that's not a real problem at the moment, because they know that because of the way the waves are being pushed in, there's no chance of that. They do see everybody, so they're not terribly worried. Garen is drawing some people to himself. And look at just how difficult it is for blue team to walk into their own jungle. They have to constantly be so scared. Garen disappears in the jungle. Garen reappears, catches out the Senna. Mordekaiser just walks in, ultis Diana, forces the flash out. And now he's just going to walk away. He doesn't need to overchase. He knows he's done his job. There's no threat of the flash ulti engaged from the Diana. And because the Mordekaiser at this stage has a Cosmic Drive completed, and he has the Frostfire, he has 50 ability haste. So his ulti is barely on a minute-long cooldown. So he's going to be able to do this again in just a minute with Baron buff still up. Garen going to take advantage of the Diana with no flash and just flashing in to take her out. Blue team just falling further and further behind another flash force out from a key carry because the Encore. Yasuo is going to die topside, but I don't even think it matters. He hasn't mattered all game. Red team is going to take that inhibitor, and wow, they are now, the gold is at a stage where it's almost no longer relevant, but they are now in firm control of this map, having broken open the base. This tier 2 tower is still standing, but they do have an inhib that blue team needs to deal with the super minion wave coming in. Look at them. If they want to go ahead and contest this Drake, it's already gone. They can't even get here in time to contest. Now both teams are on soul points. They do deny the soul. Looks like the next big team fight around the Cloud Soul is going to be the deciding factor. Alternatively, either team might decide to just give this up and focus on pushing out the map instead, but that kind of play definitely favors the team that's got supers coming in. So all of the members of the team are taking resets. Mordekaiser looks like he's not going to be resetting, because the only need for him to reset is if he can finish his last item, which he probably needs a couple thousand gold for, which he probably doesn't have. But as you can see, he's level 18. He's very, very strong. Whoever he ultis is going to die. One of the primary ways to catch out threat on the enemy team. If they don't have the Diana ult engaged, then suddenly it becomes very difficult for the red team now, because yes, Mundo is a meat shield, but he's a meat shield that can be cut through now. The advantage that they had of being an unkillable tank 5 minutes earlier is gone. The damage dealers on the red team have scaled. And without Diana's engage, because Mundo doesn't have engage, he just runs at you. Without Diana's engage, if they just fight front to back now, the red team would have an advantage. Mordekaiser's just running into the entire enemy team here. Ultis the Casio, he has a QSS, Yasuo doesn't have it, and the 3-man Death Grasp into the Encore. Oh, that's just going to be it. Mundo's going to get taken down. Yasuo doesn't even die this team fight. That is going to be the end of the game. They grouped up in this choke point against this team. You cannot be doing that. So look at how this starts. Mordekaiser is just baiting out the ulti. Baiting out poke from the Ezreal, right? And then he knows that they're going to be walking in here. He's taking this blue buff. They have vision here. They see that the entire team is here. So Mordekaiser now thinks, well, I can just walk into them and I can ult a carry. And let's pause right here. Let's pause right here. Look at the itemization. Ezreal doesn't have a QSS. Senna doesn't have a QSS. If Mord ults any of these people who are standing further back, then they can't get out. They're dead. But Casio has gotten a Quicksilver Sash because she realizes that she's getting ulted every fight because her AoE stun and Diana's AoE ulti is how they win these fights. So she doesn't want to be taken out of the fight. She actually wants to participate. She's a very strong carry. So she has a QSS. Mordekaiser ults her anyway, because he's just the fastest target. He doesn't even expect this, just walking away. But now look at the positioning from this team. Mundo is up here with 3 members. Let's not worry about this Yasuo. Diana can't come in from this, because Diana's trying to come in from the flank angle here, hoping to get on the Seraphine, but it's too late. Because Mordekaiser landing up 3-man Death Grasp and an Encore, the combo comes through. The Triumph healing, the Conqueror healing them this stage, the team fight is already over. Meanwhile, Diana, let's take a look at what happens to this Diana flank. Look, Diana tries to get in here, but she gets stunned point blank by the Ashe and then just gets taken out by the Yasuo, who makes his first contribution to the game by killing a Diana when it no longer mattered. But what an absolutely amazing display from this team. Surrender comes through. That game, the red team was behind for most of it, and the Yasuo inted his head off, but by repeatedly finding picks, using the Death Realm to catch out key carries, they were able to keep turning around team fight after team fight. In the middle, there was the one team fight that even got particularly close, but they ended up losing the first couple, but then once just a couple items started to come through, and Seraphine and Mordekaiser decided to play together, and Seraphine and Mordekaiser, or Seraphine and Ashe, or Ashe and Mordekaiser were able to chain together their CC to catch out carries. They caught them out enough times, and converted it into Baron over and over again, converting it into objectives. That's really what allowed them to get this game. So if we take a look at the gold graph, just take a look at the overview. For the majority of that game, blue team has a massive gold lead. At its highest point, it's almost 6K. And they end the game at almost a 6K deficit. An absolutely stunning comeback. Off of the back of that Mordekaiser and the Seraphine. It's arguable who should be MVP in the middle of those two. Definitely not the Garen. We saw he was having a mental breakdown. Yasuo is just having all kinds of breakdowns. But if you take a look at the graphs, look at the amount of damage this Mordekaiser did. Like, Mordekaiser was the primary frontliner, the primary carry, primary everything. He was the one with the most damage to objectives. He was the one with the most damage taken. Mordekaiser just crushing this game, finding key carries over and over again, not letting the fact that Yasuo was falling behind let him, because every time they go up to kill the Yasuo, converts it into an objective, converts it into a fight somewhere else, knows where people are going to rotate, is always there to catch them out. Seraphine just there to back him up. Ashe, despite falling significantly far behind, not being able to dish out the same kind of damage as Ezreal, obviously brings significantly more utility. Constant harass from her W. Some slows, and most importantly this game, the enchanted crystal arrow for the long range engages. So just threading the needle to get through the inter. What a carry performance. It's an incredibly
fun comeback to watch. Messi, definitely not the cleanest. There are a couple, the first ulti when he goes in behind the Cassiopeia and then just misses both skill shots. Certainly disappointing. But despite a couple of mistakes, overall just very good understanding of the way the game is going to go. He takes it away. So kudos to him. Fantastic game of League of Legends. Hope you all enjoyed that one as much as I did. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Peace.